So, today we're diving into a classic Hindi folktale that kicks off with a family inheritance. But let me tell you, this is not some heartwarming story about fairness. No, this is about a betrayal so deep and so cruel that it sets off this incredible, calculated quest for revenge.
This is what Padma said to her husband, Bola, right after his older brothers finished dividing up their father's property. And that one sentence, wow, it just perfectly captures the sting, the raw injustice that's at the very heart of this story.
Okay, so let's break down just how unfair this was. The eldest brother, Bhima, he was in charge of the whole thing. He and the middle brother, Lalan, took basically everything of actual value. We're talking fertile fields, the branches of the mango tree that actually produce fruit, the rooms inside the house, and all the money you could actually spend. And Bola, the youngest, he gets the leftovers, the useless symbolic scraps.
And the craziest part? Bola just goes along with it. See, in his mind, his older brothers were like father figures. He trusted them completely. It probably never even crossed his mind that they would betray him so badly. You'd think that would be enough, right? But no. His quiet acceptance apparently wasn't good enough for them. To really rub salt in the wound, they literally throw Bola and his wife Padma out of the family home. They tell them, hey, you own the roof now, so go live on it.
And just like that, their lives split onto two totally different tracks. The older brothers are living comfortably, enjoying their harvests and their home. Meanwhile, Bola and Padma are literally cast out, forced to build a tiny hut and start their entire lives over with absolutely nothing.
So living in this new, desperate poverty, Padma's sadness just starts to curdle into this sharp, biting anger. And she turns on Bola. All her frustration just boils over, you know? She's furious at him for being so meek, for that quiet acceptance that ended up costing them everything. The only thing Bola had left from his fortune were those 4 ancient coins. So, in a sort of last-ditch effort, he takes them to the village headman, the Mukhia, just hoping they might be worth something. And the verdict comes back fast. Nope, completely worthless.
But then, something a little unexpected happens. The Mukhya, who's known for being pretty strict, actually sees how desperate they are. He takes pity on them. He offers them work in his fields for a small wage. It wasn't much, but it was a lifeline. It was a way to survive. So their life settles into this grueling routine, just back-breaking labor day in and day out. But for Padma, something starts to shift. As she's sitting there in the fields, she starts to wonder, is this it? Is just surviving really enough? Is this dead-end life all they have to look forward to? And this moment right here, this is the real turning point. You know, hitting absolute rock bottom. Feeling like fate has completely abandoned you, it didn't break them. Instead, all that shared hopelessness, it lit a fire. It created this quiet, burning desire to take their destiny back.
That very night, Padma's despair finally crystallizes into a plan, a real, concrete plan. She looks at a very confused Bola, tells him to grab a shovel and just follow her, no questions. The time for suffering quietly was over. It was time to do something.
And here is where Padma's genius really comes out. This wasn't just, blind rage. This was strategic. She realizes she can use the very things they inherited, the worthless things, as weapons. She's going to turn her brothers-in-law's own cruel logic right back on them. So what's target number 1? The ridge of land. That was Bola's so-called share of the fields. Now that ridge had one single but very important job. It held all the irrigation water in his brother's fields. For a second, Bola hesitates. He's still worried about his brothers and their crops. But Padma, she is not having it. Her logic is so simple, so powerful. She just says, it's our ridge. We can do whatever we want with it. And so, they do it. They smash the ridge to pieces. All the water floods out, and by the next morning, their brother's entire harvest is completely destroyed. Now, the brothers, they suspect Bola, but they have zero proof, and in their arrogance, they just shrug it off. They figure, so what, we've still got the mango tree, we'll make plenty of money from that. They have no idea that Padma is just getting started.
A few nights later, they're back, but this time they have an axe, and their next target is the family's other pride and joy, that huge, beautiful mango tree. And again, Padma's logic is just perfect. It's flawless. She's using their own unfair division against them. The brothers took the branches with all the fruit, and they left Bola with just the root. Fine, she says, If we own the root, then we can do whatever we want to the root.
And with a sound that just cracks through the silence of the night, the entire tree comes crashing to the ground. This was it, their final devastating act of revenge.
I mean, just look at how fast all of this escalated. What started as this simmering, unfair division, it just exploded into all-out war in the span of a couple of nights. And of course, it leads directly to them getting caught.
Well, a tree that big doesn't fall quietly. That crash woke the brothers up instantly. They rush outside, and there they are, Bola and Padma, red-handed with the axe. The revenge plot is over. They're captured, tied up on the spot.
The brothers are absolutely furious. I mean, their entire livelihood has just been destroyed. For them, this isn't justice. This is a crime. This is revenge. And they promise that Bola and Padma are going to be severely punished. They're taking them to the king.
And that is where the story leaves us, hanging. Bola and Padma are captured, and their fate is now in the hands of the king. It forces us to ask a really tough question. When you've been cheated that badly, do actions like these make you a hero or a villain? Is this just revenge, or is it the only kind of justice they had left?